So let's talk about COPPA for a minute, shall we? If you've logged onto YouTube anytime within the past month and a half or so, you've seen a pop-up notification about some new terms of services that are going to go into effect on December 10th. The reason for that is that this law called COPPA, the Child's Online Privacy Protection Act, is going to be updated on December 9th. And that means a whole new set of terms of service for YouTube, and starting January 2020, a whole new system is going to go into effect on YouTube, and it's going to go around marking things as whether or not they are child-directed content. Before I get too far ahead of that, let me go ahead and say this could be really bad because it's going to affect pretty much everybody on the platform. So, what exactly is this? Well, basically, anything that is flagged as kids content, or if you mark your channel as kids content or mark a video as kids content, that means that your video is going to be demonetized. That means that there are no likes or dislikes. That means that there is no there's no comment section down below. Your video can't be added to a playlist. Your video can't be put to a watch later folder, and your video cannot be searched, if I understand correctly. And also, even if someone subscribed to your channel, they will not get notifications for the new video. So that begs the question, why even upload a video to begin with, if you can't find it at all? I don't know how that is actually supposed to work. How are you supposed to watch the video if you can't even search for it in any way, form, or fashion? So, the reason this is happening, a bunch of child advocacy groups wrote to the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, and told them that they were really mad at YouTube. Basically what was happening was children were watching several videos in a row that had similar content, like, you see those ABC videos and whatever, and then it would lead down a rabbit hole that would lead to similar content, like you would have the same kind of graphics or the same kind of themes with them, and eventually you get to those really creepy Finger Family videos, and then you get to those videos where it's like that really horrifying Johnny video where it's done with really poorly done CGI and really weird voiceovers, etc. So they would be looking at this account and saying, hey, that's a kid because they like to watch this kid's content, so we're going to send them targeted ads, which is actually flat out illegal. People have already talked about that, so I'm just basically here to signal to boost the meteor that's about to hit YouTube and how it's going to rock the entire platform as we know it. I'm not going to go into too many details about the lawsuit YouTube got into because that's old news at this point. I will be posting some links down below about what's been happening. Other videos who have done better research than I have. This video is mostly just made for signal boosting. So, in addition to that, and the fact that kids were also getting into videos that they probably shouldn't have been seeing, again, those Finger Family videos are pretty creepy, as well as those Johnny videos, also really creepy, and then eventually led to them finding other stuff that's just flat out weird, like the Spider-Man and Elsa videos, etc. Basically, a bunch of parents were mad that YouTube wasn't babysitting their kids properly. That's the way I understand it, that's the way I've heard several people describe it, etc. And now the entire platform of YouTube is getting smacked. If you upload anything that could be even lightly considered for kids, then you're getting hit and your entire channel is going to sink. On top of that, if you didn't mark your video or channel as for kids, but then the FTC or YouTube does a sweep, and they find that your video is in violation of this, then you can get smacked with a couple $1,000 fine. Up to $42,000 is the number that everyone keeps tossing around. That's kind of scary. As far as I know, this does affect people who are also not monetized. Our channel over here, Flashing Blades, is not monetized, and this video is going on both Flashing Blades and my personal channel, Blade Cross EXE. Neither of my channels are monetized, and one thing YouTube did as kind of a test run was go around to a bunch of channels, and they would go to the creator studio, and next to the public icon, they would mark whether or not the video was kids content, etc. None of my videos, none of our videos, have had that applied to them. There's roughly 1,000 videos between both accounts. I've got close to 900 videos on Flashing Blades, 100 something on Blade Cross EXE. None of them have been hit, so I don't know if we personally are in any danger or not. But this isn't about our channel. This is about the grand scheme of things. So, basically, the way this is going down is the subject matter that could qualify as kids content as listed in the COPPA Act that was passed back in 1998, I might add. This law is about 20 years old, and it's barely been updated since then. So, subject matter as to what qualifies as kids content. Subject matter that is appealing to children, such as kids' jokes, music, games, video games, computer games, TV shows, stars, cartoon characters, sports, stories, toys, children's books, fantasy, children's arts, crafts, pets, products primarily consumed by kids like snack foods or cereal. That's a pretty freaking broad description, don't you think? I mean, like, literally everything on that is enjoyed not just by kids, but by adults. I mean, yes, sure, some kids' TV shows probably not enjoyed by adults as much, or children's books probably not, but pets? Adults like pets? Snack food? Well, yeah, like you see all those MLG, Major League Gaming videos where they have like the Doritos pop up and all that, suddenly it's a kid-targeted video. Fantasy, like Dungeons and Dragons, that's fantasy. The list goes on and on. Other things is, this is my personal favorite part of the thing, of the little guideline here. I'll post a link to the one that I'm reading in the description down below as well. Language used on the website that's simple enough to be understandable by children under 12. Short, colorful descriptions, slang, pop culture phrases, and languages that fall under this that are qualified as kids content could be kids only, fun, free stuff, whatever, cool, duh, games, and ask your parents. So basically, if you use any kind of 90s slang at all, that qualifies as kids content. Also, visual content appealing to children, such as animated characters, bold or fast-moving graphics, vibrant colors. How many videos here on YouTube use these kind of things but are clearly not meant for children? We have things like animated bridge series. We have YouTube poops. We have people doing reviews of cartoons and of movies and things like that are clearly not meant for children. So, like, I've seen several YouTube poops that are most definitely not suitable for children. And this one guy, he actually does, when he does his YouTube poops, he does a lot of SpongeBob poops. He will put in the very beginning of the video, warning, this video is not for children. And that was before all of this even went into effect, or before COPPA was brought up in the past, 5-10 years. He would say, hey, not for children. And sometimes the videos are age restricted too, even though he's using clips from like SpongeBob SquarePants and some Photoshop skills. So, and just, that's such a broad category too. Animated characters? So yeah, things like, I guess, the Boondocks or Castlevania, those qualify as children's content too, despite all the violence and the swearing and the topics that are really, like, things like racism are present in both of them. Yeah, yes, that's clearly children's content. Or, heck, video games and animated characters. Red vs. Blue, Rooster Teeth. Yeah, like Rooster Teeth does their own animations. Ruby, I mean, that one could be enjoyed by kids, I'm sure. But Red vs. Blue, yes, it uses the game Halo, but I wouldn't let my kids watch that because of how much swearing it has. It never shows anything explicit, but there's a lot of vulgar language in it. That's clearly not made for kids. The thing is, the people writing this law just don't understand that adults enjoy this kind of thing too. And that's where the biggest problem is. I recently watched a video, MatPat over on Game Theory uploaded a video talking about this, and he mentioned that he had an interview with one of the head honchos at YouTube, and they said that the ones who are passing this law, a good chunk of them don't even own cell phones. I don't know if that just means smartphones or just cell phones in general. Don't even own a cell phone, yet they're writing laws for the internet and the computers, and tablets and things, for an app that runs on these devices. Is anyone else seeing the problem here? Basically, like I said earlier, the angry parents came in here and just shut the whole thing down because they're upset that YouTube wouldn't babysit their kids. That'd be like if some Karen walked into a bar and said, hey, none of y'all can drink because my kids aren't old enough to drink. That's what we have here. The biggest case of entitled parents ever to happen, and the entire platform is going to go down because of it. Yeah, and YouTube said, yes, here is the list of rules that are going to go into effect. We recommend you consult a lawyer. Well, that doesn't work, because there's this guy, he has a channel, his name is Corzine. He calls himself a social media lawyer. He takes a look at all these laws and rules that have been passed on various social media websites and tries to clarify things. Even he can't figure out this new law that's going to go into effect, because of how vague it is. It's so vague, even somebody who has read the law, and knows various laws that are related to it, he can't make heads or tails of it because of how poorly written it is. Basically, all we can do at this point is just wait and hope that things are going to get better. I mean, we can take some action, sure. Like, there's numerous petitions. Again, I'll have links in the video below. And you can write comments to the FTC, preferably make them good, well-thought-out comments and not just, lol, you suck. But the FTC is open to hearing from us. The communication deadline, as they call it, is cutting off on December 9th. That's why the new YouTube terms of service is going to affect December 10th. Because we're allowed to post comments until December 9th. So you can go there, you can tell them that the wording is too vague, they need to lay out a better guideline list here of how we can be more compliant with this, and if this is going to go into effect, then a lot of people are going to suffer. That's the biggest thing here. This entire platform is probably going to tank because the majority of people who make money, like, doing YouTube are going to take a hit because in some way or form their content could be conceived as kids content. Markiplier does some videos every now and then that have to do with kids' games. The Angry Video Game Nerd, he plays video games for, well, all of his videos. That's his whole shtick. Despite the vulgar swearing and all that, a lot of the games he plays could be considered kids' games. People like the Nostalgia Critic. He did a review of the Care Bears movie way back when. Even though Care Bears is for kids, yes, they talk about vaginas and abortions. Yes, that's clearly made for kids, right? Bennett the Sage, Linkara, all these other reviewers who talk about comic books and cartoons and anime. It's all that, with the way the rules are laid out right now, that's in the target range. That has the bullseye on it, that it's going to get them hit. And it's, people like... people who do crafting videos, even though the majority of their audience is, late teens, early 20s, and sometimes into their 30s. People like Nerdy Crafter, Mariah Elizabeth, Simply Nailogical. They all do things that could be considered kids' content, like squishy makeovers, nail polish art, and just crafts in general. Like, that was listed in the list right here, I'm pretty sure. Kids' sports, kids' products... It doesn't say crafts on this one that I've seen, but I've seen another one that does list crafts and slime type stuff falls in the category here. I've seen the document. I'll try to find the link to that when I post the video. Basically, everyone on YouTube is going to get hit by this, and this could be the end of the YouTube platform as we know it. Maybe not the entire website going down, but it's not going to be the same after 2020. So basically all we can do, write to the FTC, let them know what we think about these rules, tell them to make things more well written out, and simply allow us an easy out of this. Like, maybe insert a guideline saying you can put a disclaimer at the beginning of your video saying, hey, not meant for kids, and then just go on from there. I have heard a couple people trying to ease the panic. They're not in support of this, but they're saying things along the lines of the majority of my content, even though I post things like Pokemon and stuff, my core audience, when I check my analytics, were not children, so I don't think I'm in any danger. And people saying things like, if you do get hit with one of these strikes, people will have to review it. I'm going to put a stop to that, or I'm going to counter with the point that YouTube said for these sweeps, when they're checking the videos, they're using machine learning, meaning they're using a bot. How accurate are YouTube's bots again when it comes to this kind of stuff? They're using machine learning, which means that they have to train this machine, this computer that is looking at your videos, train them what to look for. And need I say more? YouTube's bots are almost never this accurate, and some people say that yes, while they're using bots, if you try to repeal it, then there will have to be someone who watches the actual video. Do you think the FTC and YouTube have the manpower for that? There are millions, probably billions of videos on this website. If every single one of them gets marked with a, hey, this is for kids content, do you think they have enough time to pay people to check every single video every time one of them's repealed? I don't think so. Otherwise, the YouTube would be a better platform than it is. Then we wouldn't have half the problems that we do. Things are too automated. So the entire thing is just going down, and it's going to be awful. Basically, all we can do is, again, write to the FTC, sign the petition to get the rules more well fleshed out, and just, if you believe in God, then pray. That's the best thing I can do. That's the best thing I can ask y'all to do. Just, reach out, support those YouTubers that you really like, and, again, sign the petitions, send comments, and may the odds be ever in our favor.